Michael Lorenzen feels like a perfect match for Boston. Here's why. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and we actually made a very similar video about Michael Lorenzen back in January, but things have changed quite a bit for the Red Sox between January and March, and especially going into opening day. And while I still think Michael Lorenzen is a perfect fit for Boston, this time it's for completely different reasons. So what we are going to do in today's video is we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about the latest news and rumors surrounding Michael Lorenzen, why I think the Boston Red Sox might just be involved. We're going to talk about why he makes sense for the current Red Sox, and we're going to talk about what it might take to get him here and if the Red Sox would be willing to do that. But before we get into that, do me a favor. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're about 175 away, so if you want to help us get there, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start by breaking down where Michael Lorenzen's current market is sitting at. Last night, the MLB trade rumor site put out a report that stated that there are two key players right now in the Michael Lorenzen sweepstakes. It's the Chicago White Sox, which makes sense because they just traded away Dylan Cease and flat out need a body in this rotation, and the New York Yankees, who just came out that Garrett Cole is probably going to miss 10 to 12 weeks starting today, and they're going to need a body in their rotation, which for the Red Sox isn't exactly a great sign, right? That's two desperate teams who've already been linked to Michael Lorenzen, but that doesn't mean that the Red Sox aren't involved. In fact, there are other reports out there that there are other multiple teams within this Michael Lorenzen sweepstakes, and I have to imagine the Boston Red Sox are one of them. One, because both national and local media have been sort of hinting at attaching the Red Sox to Michael Lorenzen. They haven't flat out said that there have been reports that they've been interested, but basically everyone and their mother right now, especially after the Lucas Giolito injury, is saying, wait a second, this makes a ton of sense. But two, because every move the Red Sox have made this offseason has basically come out of absolutely nowhere, right? There were maybe some inclination that they were interested in Lucas Giolito, but they weren't ever officially tied to Giolito until he actually signed. Every other free agent that was signed after that, most of them being minor league contracts or hurt players that are rehabbing and coming back, came out of absolutely nowhere. And especially with trades, there was absolutely no warning of those whatsoever. The Chris Sale trade was just like, bam, there it is. And so for me, when we're looking at this, no, the Red Sox have not been specifically named as a suitor for Michael Lorenzen, but that's kind of a good thing in my opinion, because all these moves have come out of absolutely nowhere, and I have to expect the Red Sox are at least dipping their toe into this market because he just makes so much sense. And the reason for that is because initially, back in January, my reasoning for Lorenzen was that he was a back-end type guy that adds versatility to the Red Sox pitching staff. And that remains a true statement. Signing him now would allow the Red Sox to have more versatility in the back end, with Lorenzen, Whitlock, and Winkowski having experience as both starters and relievers. And that's still the case. If they were to sign him today, it would add versatility to this pitching staff. But now Michael Lorenzen can serve a bigger, more important role that is a very simple innings, right? The Red Sox need innings. The biggest impact Lucas Giolito's injury is going to have on the Red Sox is a loss of innings from your rotation. He was almost basically penciled in for 150 plus innings. I would say even 170 plus innings, and losing that puts a lot of strain on the Red Sox bullpen, which we saw what a strained bullpen looks like in the back half of 2023, and I don't think you want to repeat that again. Signing Lorenzen would help patch that up a bit. Last year in 29 games with 25 starts, Lorenzen had a 4.18 ERA with a bit higher but still pretty manageable FIP of 4.46, a WHIP of 1.209, and he had a career low in walks at 2.8 per 9, a 6.5 K per 9, all good for a 105 ERA plus, right around that league average mark, about 5% better than the average pitcher in baseball. But the most important statistic of his 2023 season, in my opinion, was a career high 153 innings pitched. Getting 150 innings plus in a guy like Lorenzen would allow you to, one, strengthen this rotation a bit, right? The guy doesn't have the greatest stat line in the world. He's a slightly above average pitcher, but a 4.18 ERA in the back half of this rotation, sitting realistically in the fifth spot in this rotation type pitcher, would allow you to sort of round out this rotation a bit better than you currently have. But more importantly, signing Lorenzen would push both Whitlock and Winkowski into the Red Sox bullpen. And what this would do is it would deepen your bullpen, it would make it more versatile, and it would allow you to get more innings out of this bullpen because they're stretched out to be starters. And these are the type of guys that can go 2 or 3 innings per outing, which is going to be vital, especially with the way that this Red Sox rotation is currently set up. There is also a chance that we get a mid-rotation production type season out of Michael Lorenzen. He showed last year that he has that potential. 18 starts out of his total starts this season were with the Detroit Tigers. That's about 62% of the total starts or appearances he had in 2023. And in that time span, he was an all-star that had a 3.58 ERA with a 3.86 FIP, which is a really solid number. It does mean he was a bit lucky on the mound, as that is a bit higher than his ERA leads on, but that's still a really manageable number, and it pushes him statistically into more of that back 3, early 4 type slot in your rotation. And he had a 1.098 whip, walking 2.3 per 9 and striking out 7.1, which was good for a 1.24 ERA plus, 24% above league average production. He also, during those 18 games, threw 105 2/3 innings, which is about 6 innings per start. Getting that level of production from a guy like Michael Lorenzen kind of totally changes the outlook of this rotation. Now, obviously, that was only about 62% of the year, and he did fall off a bit, especially after getting traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. But at the same time, too, if Bailey and Willard and Breslow as well could get this production out of him for an entire season, you're talking about a guy who's now in the 5th spot of your rotation, giving you a sub-4 ERA, and that is a really, really intriguing prospect. The question here is, though, what is it going to take to get Lorenzen to the Boston Red Sox, and is it something the Red Sox are willing to do? Well, to answer that question, we actually do have some evidence of what Michael Lorenzen's specifically looking for in terms of his next contract, because in this same MLB trade rumors report, it was noted that Michael Lorenzen has declined multiple $5 to $7 million offers. Now, we don't know who those teams were and if those teams are still players or if it was one of the White Sox or the Yankees, but what we do know is it really wasn't about the money with Michael Lorenzen, it was about the years. The latest report is that Michael Lorenzen is looking for a 2-year contract that would allow him to stick with a team for more than one season, which is something he really values over the actual dollar amount. So if you're the Red Sox, what more than likely gets this deal done is a 2-year, $16 million contract, or about $8 million per season. Now, I think you and I look at this and say, well, that's an absolutely no-brainer contract, right? Because you're getting, again, those innings back in this rotation. You're getting the potential of a sort of mid-rotation starter, and you're strengthening your bullpen for less than $10 million. Yeah, sign me up for that. But looking at it from a Red Sox perspective, for lack of a better word, they're heavily constrained this offseason with how much they can spend. The Bayo deal adds some money to their current spending total for 2024, and we don't really know how much money is left in that dumb little budget that they've constructed for themselves, right? We don't know if Michael Lorenzen fits in here. However, if you're looking at this again from a Red Sox perspective, specifically from a Craig Breslow perspective, this has to be a much easier sell to ownership than some of the other options available on the free agent market, specifically those 2 top name guys in Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. And while I would much rather prefer the Red Sox go out and get one of those guys, again, it is much easier to see the Red Sox being able to sell FSG on the addition of Michael Lorenzen than it is on the addition of $25+ million Jordan Montgomery or $30+ million Blake Snell. In my opinion, I don't really know if this is something the Red Sox are willing to do. What scares me about this is the competition, right? The White Sox are desperate just to get a body in there. The Yankees are desperate to patchwork their rotation until Garrett Cole comes back. But at the same time, too, the Red Sox should be a bit desperate as well, right? They should be looking at the free agent market, and it has been confirmed by Breslow and core a little bit here over the last couple of days that they are still looking at different options. So I have to imagine Michael Lorenzen is in this mix, and I can't fully close the door on the idea of the Red Sox making a rotation. I don't think, at least personally at this point in the offseason, that it's going to be an addition that completely changes everything like a Jordan Montgomery, but I do think it is still possible that they add into this rotation in a guy like Michael Lorenzen, and for that reason, I'm keeping a really close eye on his market. I am watching everything that happens here because I do think this is a really distinct possibility for the Boston Red Sox, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of the idea of Michael Lorenzen coming to the Boston Red Sox? Do you like it? Do you not like it? And do you think it's possible? Let me know all your thoughts on the situation in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Help us get there. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just helps these videos out a ton and would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you all in the red seats.